Episode 5 opens in a way that instantly tells us the city is changing again, and every character is fighting to stay one step ahead. Tommy is pushing harder than ever, trying to build a world where he has full control, but every decision he makes pulls him deeper into danger. What makes this episode so interesting is how we see Tommy trying to balance power with loyalty. But the cracks start to show the moment his plans stop lining up with the people around him. You can feel he is moving with purpose, but the people closest to him are starting to question whether they can trust the path he's taking. The tension quietly builds in every scene, giving us a sense that one wrong move could flip the entire season. Diamond and Jenard continue to struggle with their broken brotherhood. Even though they share the same blood, Episode 5 makes it clear that they're now walking different roads. Diamond tries to keep things steady, trying to rebuild after the chaos that hit the CPI. But Jenard is drifting toward choices that could destroy everything. Their silence toward each other speaks louder than any argument. This isn't just a fight for control of the crew, this is a fight for identity. Each moment between them feels heavy, and you can sense that one of them may end up crossing a line that cannot be undone. Claudia Flynn continues to play her own game, staying hidden in the shadows while making moves that could hurt anyone who gets in her way. Episode 5 highlights how far she is willing to go to gain her independence. She doesn't want to live under her family's rules anymore, and every deal she makes shows she's ready to become something more dangerous. Even though she appears calm, the episode gives us hints that her alliances won't last, and that she is building something that will soon collide with Tommy's plans. Her path is unpredictable, and that's exactly what makes her scenes feel so important. Miguel and the cartel bring a new kind of pressure to the episode. Every time they appear, the tone shifts, reminding us that Chicago is not the only battlefield. Miguel's calm but deadly style creates a sense of fear without him having to say much. His connection with Tommy becomes even more complicated in Episode 5. They share moments that look like trust, but underneath, you feel the weight of secrets and silent threats. The cartel storyline holds clues about where the season is heading, especially when it comes to the wider war for territory and loyalty. The street-level world also gets sharper in this episode. The smaller crews, the shifts in money flow, and the new faces stepping into the picture all add to the feeling that the city is preparing for something massive. Episode 5 shows that every decision, even the small ones, has a consequence, and the people who look unimportant now may be the ones who tip the balance later. By the end of the recap, you can feel that Episode 5 is a setup for big explosions later in the season. Every storyline pushes the characters closer to their breaking points. Trust is fading, power is slipping, and the ones who think they're safe are the ones who should be worried the most. Episode 5 is built on pressure, and the theme that rises above everything is the idea that power always comes with a cost. Every character in this episode is trying to hold on to something: control, respect, loyalty, survival, but the harder they chase it, the more everything around them begins to slip. The writers use this episode to show how power doesn't break a person all at once. It breaks them slowly, through choices they believe are harmless, through secrets they think no one will discover, and through alliances they assume will last forever. You can feel this theme growing with every scene, as characters take steps they can't take back. Another strong theme is loyalty. But in Episode 5, loyalty feels like a knife with two edges. Everyone wants it, but no one can be sure who actually deserves it. Tommy is fighting to keep the people around him close, but the more he builds his empire, the more he realizes that loyalty in Chicago is fragile. One moment someone is riding with you, and the next they're keeping a secret that could destroy everything. The episode shows how loyalty can hold a crew together, but it can also blind people to betrayal that's right in front of them. This theme becomes more powerful as the characters start making moves that will affect the entire season. The theme of family also comes into focus, especially through Diamond and Jenard's storyline. Their relationship shows how family bonds can be strong enough to survive anything except pride and ambition. In Episode 5, their family connection feels like a weight pulling both of them down. They want peace, but neither knows how to reach for it without losing control. The episode uses their silence and distance to show how family can become your greatest source of pain. Even when they try to fix things, the damage is too deep. An Episode 5 hints that their story may be heading toward a breaking point neither of them can avoid. Episode 5 also explores the theme of hidden agendas. Almost every character is smiling on the surface while planning something behind the scenes. Claudia acts calm, but she's building something dangerous. Miguel appears loyal, but his eyes reveal a different story. Even the smaller characters are making moves in the shadows. The episode uses these secret plans to create a sense of slow-building tension. because the audience knows that at some point, all these hidden choices will collide. This theme turns the episode into a puzzle, where every piece is moving quietly until the moment they snap together. Another unique theme is the rise of consequences. Episode 5 makes it clear that the past cannot stay buried. Mistakes, lies, and deals from earlier in the season return with more weight than before. Every action echoes later, and the episode reminds us that no one can escape the choices they've made. Whether it's Tommy's push for expansion, Diamond's attempt to control the streets, or Claudia's rebellion against her own blood, Episode 5 shows that every path leads somewhere, and not everyone will like where they end up. This theme prepares the audience for the chaos that is surely coming in the next episodes. What makes Episode 5 stand out is how these themes overlap. Power pushes people to lie. Lies break loyalty. Broken loyalty destroys families. And the destruction leads to consequences that cannot be undone. The episode uses these connected ideas to show that the real war in Chicago isn't just about drugs or territory, it's about who can survive, the damage they cause while chasing something bigger than themselves. By the end of Episode 5, every theme points toward the same idea. The game is changing, and not everyone is ready for what's coming. The people who think they have control are the ones losing it the fastest, and the ones who feel weak are slowly learning how to become dangerous. These themes set the stage for a future where every move matters, every secret counts, and every alliance could be the difference between rising to power or losing everything. Episode 5 moves like a quiet storm, slowly building force with each scene, and every moment feels like a warning of what's about to hit Chicago. The first major scene sets the tone immediately. Tommy steps into the episode with the same confidence we expect, but there is a new sharpness in his decisions. The episode shows him studying every angle, every threat, and every opportunity. Even when no one says it out loud, you can sense that Tommy is preparing for a bigger fight. His conversations feel shorter, his patience feels thinner, and his moves feel heavier. It's clear he is shifting into a different version of himself, one that is less forgiving and more focused on controlling everything in front of him. The next scene highlights the growing cracks. Inside CBI, Diamond tries to lead with calm strength, but the episode gives us small details that show how much pressure is building behind his eyes. He wants to rebuild, to keep the streets steady, yet the world around him refuses to slow down. Then comes Jenard, moving through the episode like someone who no longer cares about the rules. Every moment he appears, there's an energy of recklessness mixed with pride. You can see the pain and jealousy boiling inside him, even when he tries to hide it. Their scenes together remind us that their conflict is no longer just about business. It's about two men trying to claim the same identity while losing themselves in the process. A later scene quietly shifts to Claudia, who plays the episode like a chess master making moves no one expects. The writers give her small, subtle moments that reveal how far she is willing to go to escape the shadow of her family. She speaks less, but her silence carries weight. Her actions show she is building something dangerous without needing approval from anyone. Even the people who think they have her figured out are already behind. Claudia's scenes hint at a slow but steady rise, one that may explode when it collides with Tommy's plans. The episode uses her storyline to remind the audience that the smartest threats are often the ones hiding in plain sight. One of the most important scenes comes from Miguel's side. When he enters the story, everything shifts to a heavier tone. The writers use his calm nature as a warning. Miguel doesn't need to shout or make a big scene to show danger. His quiet confidence is enough. In Episode 5, his interactions with Tommy feel different, like two men walking on a thin line where respect and threat blur together. Each conversation carries a double meaning, and each choice Miguel makes holds a secret message. His storyline suggests that the cartel pressure is about to tighten, and that trust between him and Tommy may not survive what's coming next. The episode also gives attention to the smaller street crews, and it's here that the deeper clues hide. A short exchange about product, a shift in territory, or a sudden appearance of a new player may seem unimportant at first, but these scenes act as seeds that the writers are planting for later episodes. The streets are changing, and Episode 5 shows that even the smallest move can cause huge damage if ignored. The streets start whispering, and these whispers will soon turn into chaos. One of the strongest scenes appears toward the middle of the episode, a moment that reveals fear behind fame, weakness behind power, and doubt behind every bold claim. Characters who seemed confident in earlier episodes now begin questioning their choices. The city feels unstable, like everyone is standing on thin ice. This scene doesn't rely on explosions or violence. It uses emotion, silence, and tension to show how close everyone is to breaking. As episode 5 moves toward its final moments, the pacing changes. The scenes start coming faster, the conversations get shorter, and the tension builds like a heartbeat speeding up. Tommy makes a choice that will echo through the next episodes. Diamond faces a truth he can no longer avoid. Jenard steps further into darkness. Claudia tightens her grip on her secret plans. And Miguel watches everything like a man who already knows the ending. Episode 5 closes with the feeling that every character has crossed a line. No way back. No way to undo the damage. Every scene points toward a war coming from all sides, and the only question left is who will fall first. Episode 5 is filled with small details that seem easy to ignore at first, but once you start paying attention, these small details reveal the bigger picture. The writers hide these clues in the background, in quick lines of dialogue, in shifts of tone, and even in the way characters look at each other. The first major Easter egg appears in the way Tommy studies the streets around him. His eyes follow patterns, movements, and people who seem unimportant. But if you notice the way he pauses, the way he listens, and the way he reacts, it becomes clear that he senses something changing before anyone else does. This subtle behavior is more than a character moment. It is a clue that Tommy knows an attack is coming long before it arrives. Another important Easter egg comes from Diamond's quiet moments. In episode 5, he pays extra attention to the business structure of CBI. Almost like he is preparing for something he hasn't told anyone about. When he checks numbers, shifts his routine, or looks around the room before speaking, these are not random actions. They are clues that Diamond is slowly losing trust in the people around him. Even the way he responds to certain questions gives us a hint that he has begun planning for survival rather than loyalty. These small moments plant the idea that Diamond might soon make a decision that shakes the entire crew. Jenard's scenes also hide deeper meaning. He talks fast, moves with aggression, and reacts before thinking. But the episode gives us hints that he feels cornered. A few lines where he hesitates, a moment where he looks unsure, and a glance toward someone who used to respect him all serve as clues. These are signs that Jenard is aware of his slipping power, even if he pretends otherwise. The writers hide these emotional cracks so closely that you might miss them if you blink, but once seen, they clearly point to a future breaking point. Claudia's storyline is filled with hidden signals. Each time she meets with someone, her words carry two meanings, the one she says and the one she chooses not to reveal. Episode 5 gives us short scenes where she checks her phone, examines documents, or watches people from a distance. These moments act as Easter eggs, showing that she is building a network behind the scenes. The episode suggests she has access to information others don't, and she uses that knowledge to make decisions with perfect timing. Even the colors around her, the locations she picks, and the people she avoids quietly hint at a larger plan. Developing under everyone's nose, Miguel brings a different kind of hidden clue. His calm expressions and soft-spoken warnings make him look stable, but the episode drops several hints that he is losing patience. He pays attention to Tommy in a way that feels sharper than before. A small change in his tone, a pause before answering, or a quick nod to his crew are clues that Miguel is preparing for a shift in the partnership. The episode makes it clear that Miguel is collecting information, waiting for the right moment to strike. He is not just reacting to Tommy, he is studying him, learning him, and preparing to move against him if needed. There are also Easter eggs connected to the wider universe, a reference to old connections, a mention of past enemies, or a familiar phrase said by a character acts as a subtle callback to earlier seasons of the Power World. These moments serve as reminders that everything happening now is part of a long chain of events reaching back to Ghost's era. The writers use these callbacks to show that even though the location has changed, the rules of the game remain the same. Trust no one, expect betrayal, and never forget the past. Even the environment carries clues. A certain street corner, a quiet warehouse, or a familiar car, appearing more than once hints at upcoming danger. Background characters who seem random may reappear later, suggesting they play a larger role than expected. The episode also uses silence as an Easter egg. When a conversation suddenly gets quiet, when someone steps away before finishing a sentence, or when a character gives a strange look. These moments signal deeper secrets waiting to surface. By the end of episode 5, all these clues connect to one clear message. Everything is shifting. The alliances built in the previous episodes are becoming unstable. The people who appear weak are gaining hidden power, and those who seem strong are starting to crumble from inside. Episode 5 hides the truth in plain sight. The war isn't coming. It has already started, and most characters don't even realize it yet.